10 years ago, a routine flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing took off under the quiet cover of night, only to vanish into thin air, leaving behind a mystery that continues to haunt the world. This is the story of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, the flight that disappeared, and the desperate, decade-long search for answers. On March 8, 2014, a Boeing 777, carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members, departed from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. The flight began like any other. The aircraft climbed to its cruising altitude and everything seemed perfectly normal. For the first 40 minutes, the flight path was textbook. Then, just as the plane was about to pass from Malaysian to Vietnamese air traffic control, something went terribly wrong. The final communication from the cockpit was a calm, almost routine sign-off. "Good night, Malaysian 370. These were the last words ever heard from the flight. Moments later, the plane's transponder, the device that communicates its position to ground control, was turned off. The aircraft vanished from civilian radar screens. But it hadn't just disappeared. Military radar tracked the plane for another hour, showing it making a sharp, deliberate turn back towards the Malaysian peninsula, then another turn south, flying over the Andaman Sea before it finally went out of range. Who was in control of the plane? And why did they turn? These questions sparked an immediate and frantic search. Initially, efforts focused on the South China Sea, where the plane was last seen on civilian radar. But as the military radar data came to light, the search area shifted dramatically. The investigation became a complex puzzle, piecing together fragments of data from satellites, radar, and any possible clue. A breakthrough came from Inmarsat, a British satellite company. Their satellites had been receiving hourly handshakes or pings from the aircraft long after it disappeared from radar. By analyzing the time it took for these signals to travel, investigators could draw two massive arcs on a map where the plane might have ended its journey. One arc stretched north over Central Asia, and the other stretched south, deep into the remote, unforgiving waters of the southern Indian Ocean, based on the amount of fuel the plane had. The southern corridor was deemed the most likely final resting place, and so began the largest and most expensive search in aviation history. Ships and aircraft from dozens of countries scoured a vast, desolate expanse of the Indian Ocean, an area larger than Western Europe. For years, underwater drones and sonar equipment mapped the seabed, searching for any sign of wreckage in one of the deepest and most treacherous parts of the world's oceans. The seafloor in this region is rugged, with underwater volcanoes and deep canyons, making the search incredibly difficult. Day after day, the world watched, hoping for a breakthrough. But the ocean held its secrets tight. The official search, led by Australia, Malaysia, and China, covered over 120,000 square kilometers of the seafloor but found nothing. In January 2017, after nearly 3 years, the governments announced the suspension of the search, a decision that was met with heartbreak and anger from the families of those on board. For the families, the past decade has been a journey through unimaginable grief and uncertainty. They've been trapped in a state of limbo, unable to mourn properly without knowing the fate of their loved ones. They've organized their own campaigns, raised funds for private searches, and relentlessly pressured governments to not give up. Their faces, etched with pain and determination, have become the human symbol of this tragedy. They deserve answers. They deserve peace. The lack of concrete evidence has fueled a storm of conspiracy theories. Was it a pilot suicide mission? A hijacking gone wrong? Was there a fire on board that incapacitated the crew? Or did a third party, perhaps a foreign power, somehow intervene? Some theories point to a ghost flight, where a technical failure or fire led to the depressurization of the cabin, leaving everyone on board unconscious while the plane flew on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. Others suggest more elaborate plots involving remote hijacking or political motives. The captain, Zahari Ahmad Shah, has been under intense scrutiny, with investigators looking into his life, his mental state, and even a flight simulator found in his home which had a plotted course into the southern Indian Ocean. However, no conclusive evidence has ever been found to implicate him or anyone else. While the main underwater search was fruitless, pieces of the puzzle began to wash ashore. In 2015, a piece of the wing, a flaperon, was discovered on Reunion Island, thousands of kilometers from the search area. Since then, more than 30 pieces of debris, confirmed or believed to be from MH370, have been found along the coastlines of Africa and on islands in the Indian Ocean. These discoveries confirm that the plane did indeed go down in the Indian Ocean, and drift modeling helped to refine the potential crash site. A private American company, Ocean Infinity, launched its own no find, no fee search in 2018 using advanced autonomous underwater vehicles. They scanned another huge area of the seabed based on new drift analysis, but again, came up empty-handed. The mystery deepened. Today, 10 years on, the core questions remain unanswered. What happened in the cockpit that night? Why was the transponder turned off? Why did the plane deviate so drastically from its flight path? And most importantly, where are the 239 souls who were on board? The black boxes, the flight data recorder, and cockpit voice recorder are the key. They hold the definitive answers, but they lie somewhere on the vast, dark floor of the Indian Ocean. New technologies and analytical methods are constantly being developed. Experts believe that with refined data and a renewed will, the wreckage of MH370 can still be found. The Malaysian government has recently indicated it may be willing to approve a new search. For the families and for the world, the hope for closure persists. The story of MH370 is more than just an aviation mystery. It's a testament to the limits of our technology, a story of international cooperation, and a heartbreaking saga of human loss and enduring love. The world cannot forget Flight 370. We owe it to the passengers, the crew, and their families to continue the search for truth, no matter how long it takes. The final chapter of this story is yet to be written. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please consider subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the events that have shaped our world. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.